take a note. So finally he picked one. Literally, I tied the night before.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm gonna go to the big lake in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, when you're driving, is right there. I went across the lake.
Totally away from the fountain and everything.
And they had, well, it's on the other side, but they have a place where they rattle the cage and they come like they know they're being fed.
Yeah.
So I walk out on the point and I'm looking at everyone. There's no one all the way over here. And I rattle the cage and 4 big ones came up like this. Boom, and I caught the first.
Yeah, they hit on the first strike.
I had the biggest one of the whole day. It's only 2 hours, but
yeah,
there's 6 or 8 of us.
Yeah.
And finally, Irwin's over here just flailing, and I yelled, "Irwin!" He saw me catch it. He's.
Yeah.
I'm at 12 o'clock and he's at 3 o'clock. Irwin, come on over. I said, "Come on." So he came over, and I felt bad. So I said, "Look, rattle the cage. Here they come." I said, "I'm leaving you. Take my spot."
Didn't matter really what fly.
It mattered. It seemed it mattered, but you know that was the barramundi, which is on a pond.
Yeah,
and I got the pleasure of throwing it for $200. You know.
Yeah, it's.
And the problem with that.
I was catching them every cast. I don't know why they were off that day.
Well, it was cold the night before.
It was cold. I know.
And they said they all.
Yeah. But that actually worked for me that time. I don't know when it was.
So you've done that trip.
Yeah, I have. All right.
How's that?
Yeah, yours was a nice one. That's a nice fish.
I'm saying, but
I could see you're off by yourself too.
Well, not in the beginning. I'm trying to learn as much as I can.
Well, this method that by going early and having waders, and still going early if it's cold, going early, the hotter it gets, the earlier for sure, has really worked out year round. So I'm not too worried about ever really finding fish. I think we covered a lot of things. Let me look here. Yeah, you live real close, and plus we can do other trips. We'll put our heads together and do some other things.
There's a new spot that 2 people told me about. They're catching anything and everything, and this spot is strange. Marina Jack.
Nice and interesting.
They put that fence all along the 41.
You mean right there opposite the Westin?
No.
Okay.
Marina Jack.
Right.
The very south end point with a tiki bar. But if you get on the sidewalk and you're walking south, you're on the sidewalk and they put a big fence.
But you can get
as you're heading south, and at the end the fence stops. He says you go in there.
Right.
And they're snook and this.
Where
and
is it? Is it in the old lagoon or
No.
More towards.
So this is the bend. Here's Marina Jack here. And this is the water, and this is the sidewalk, and this is where it bends to go around. All this sidewalk has been fenced in since the last 2 hurricanes.
Yeah. Is it riprap rock?
And it's you climb in here and you go this way.
Yeah. And
you're heading now towards Hudson Bayou, which I used to live on a million years ago.
So it is towards Selby.
Yeah, it is. But you go in there, and Patrick says you just need to watch where you're stepping because there's some big potholes there. But there's snook, this, that, the other. And very few people are telling me where they're going. But he said step in there and there's fish. Nice fish.
Well, getting back to... Alright, so that's all you need to do is know a spot that has good fish. And then try it when I'm talking about, because they're not going to be there or they're not going to bite all day long.
No.
Believe it or not. They're not going to be that close to shore. But most of the time, in the morning they are. I mean, I catch sometimes really big ones 5 feet, 5 steps into the water almost. The tide's up enough.
Yeah, I've not had the pleasure.
Oh my God.
What's the tide chart for the morning tomorrow?
All right, so yeah, I think we're on to that. Let's go ahead and look towards tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have that north west wind at 7. And then the tide is the next thing to look at, which is salt water. Tides.com. I gotta almost try and pick my wife up. An hour or so. Saltwatertides.com. All over the country, Gulf Coast. You have to pick a city or else you don't get anything. To pick a month, you have to pick a day.
Tomorrow's the
13th.
13th.
And then how many days? I may fish all week, so 4 more days. Starting on the 14th. Oh, tomorrow's the 13th. Sorry. So tomorrow, if you look here, it's very deceiving because we have 4 tides here, but it's saying we have this weak slowness in the tide in this 4 tide day, which would tell you, man, I sure don't want to fish there. It's going to start coming in. It's going to.
What is your preference, incoming or outgoing?
Doesn't either one. I want the movement of one or the other. Sometimes the beginning of the incoming is generally always the best, and then sometimes the bottom of the outgoing can be really good, or the beginning of the outgoing. Just if you get right on the cusp, it's good. But this is very interesting because you got this period that's not doing anything, so you don't really know because you're going actually from a 2.4 to. Ultimately, you're going from a -2.4 to a -0.3. You're almost doing the same thing here, but they're not showing you that slow period. And that slow period is, I don't know. It doesn't really matter because we'll probably be fishing, if we go tomorrow, we'd be fishing at 6:30. And we'd be looking for an incoming, which is, and we're going to go to South Lido and fish the inlet. I'll explain why. So it takes about a half hour. The park opens at 6. It takes almost a half hour to walk to the spot. Not too much. It's down the beach.
When you go to the very end of the park,
Right.
you're going to walk out and go to the left?
Yeah.
I've done that. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I've never been prolific there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Fantastic. I go, when I come back, the people are just going.
Yeah.
They missed it.
Yeah.
They don't know what I do.
Yeah. No.
No. So,
Awesome.
So we walk down, and you can see in my video, just to go over that with you, the new GoPro almost accepts an image, enough light at first light, which is, first light is first light. Our eyes do really well. So I'm walking out, and the more I look to the sun, the more light I have. If I had the camera running, it would be totally black, even though I can still see behind me. There's enough ambient light. But so about the time I get down there, there's enough light to start filming because it's pretty close to what we call the orange hour.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And you can see the hospital from there. You can see the sunrise coming
You
over.
might be going further than I'm going, because I go, damn near sitting, there's a main
You
road
might not be
sitting.
going far enough.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
So what is the time tomorrow?
6.
No, the
What? What? Oh, the tide?
Yeah, I was looking.
Well, when we get down there at 6:30, that's a pretty good jump between there and there. And the next day it's saying it's happening.
So it says noon is 12:21.
Oh yeah, high is pretty quickly after that, so it'll come in quick. And you know what? We're done really.
So it's a good incoming.
Yeah, it's a good income.
Gotcha.
And another reason we're going there is because of that northwest wind. We don't want 10 miles an hour hitting us at Ringling in our face. That's a terrible cast. So, and another reason is, which you'll find out if you look like this spot, is when there's no wind at all, there's no CMs at that hour. And they get in your head and scalp, and you gotta have.
I'm because I've had a hunk cut out of here.
Yeah.
Had another kind of cancer when I was 58. I'm covered. I'm
These
completely.
things, you might be aware of something in the bad time for them if you learn how to make them go away. But tomorrow there'll be that breeze and there'll be no CMs.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And
Where in Miami did you grow up?
all around. My dad built a home in Miami Shores, a nice area.
Know it well.
Yeah. And we were right there by the community center and the Presbyterian church, you know, nice area. And then from there, he moved a little bit to west of Northwest 2nd and 111th by Berry College, and then we lived from Coconut Grove all the way.
You've been around.
Yeah, I lived all over Miami, Opelika.
That's a whole nother animal, Opelika. That's a whole nother
We had a
animal.
house on a curve in Opelika that was
Yeah.
on a little tiny lake.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. Anyway, moved up here and moved just down the street to a Pecky Cypress house. It was our first house that we bought, and it's still there. Really cool house that some Yoder built.
I used to rent on Hudson Bay, had all Peggy Cypress.
They're pretty cool.
But I'm talking about the
Pretty local.
early 70s.
Local yokel stuff, yeah. It was pretty cool to move into that house. And then this one was been a good house.
You've been here since I've been here. You know the name Wendell Spraggins?
No.
Wendell was a guy from up north. He was a banker.
Uh-huh.
And big, tall. You can tell he exercised, athlete, and he was a banker. So the street I'm on is a dead-end street. It's called Westbrook off Covino, and it's all filled. They filled in the whole area.
Uh-huh.
Filled. It goes right out to the
Can't you